Hello and welcome. This is James Blanchard Cisneros at your service. Today I will be reading the October 20th Facebook post and making a few comments on it, and I trust that it will assist both of us on our journeys. Here we go. Negative thinking shows us where we desire not to go. Consider seeing negative thinking as resisting your life's purpose, and all positive thinking as one of allowing your life's purpose to flow and flourish. Now also consider that all negative thinking as simply gifting you a clearer route for where you desire not to go. For once you understand the roads you do not need to take, you also get a clearer picture of your true direction. The ego would have you judge and curse yourself and make you feel bad about yourself for negative thinking. But what has the ego's thought system, judging yourself for being judgmental, ever done for you? Today we stop judging ourselves for negative thinking. Instead we learn to use it as a directional device, a sort of GPS for the soul, showing us the places we desire no longer to travel. Thanks to our new understanding of negative thinking, we can now, without judgment, cross off these thoughts from our minds and maps, and continue on to our true destination, the state of peace of mind, compassion, love, and self-love. Negative thinking. Being judgmental of oneself. Judgment is the ego's main fuel source. And so if we're not judging other people and separating ourselves from them, because that's what the ego loves, separation, then the ego would have us judge ourselves and separate ourselves from our truth. Now when you're judging others and you're separating yourself from them, then who do you have to go to? Obviously the ego is there for you. It says that it's you and it against the world, and that you could only trust it. And then when you're judging yourself and you're separating from yourself from your own truth, who is there to quote unquote support you? The ego. The ego is telling you that it itself is your truth, not who you deep down inside believe yourself to be. And so, as we do in most videos, is first let's remember who we truly are. We are love's creation. We are love itself, physically manifesting itself on this planet, in this physical body. And some of love's expressions are kindness, joy, forgiveness, compassion, generosity, peace. And so anytime we're being judgmental, anytime we're judging ourselves and having negative thinking, we have really forgotten who we are. We have simply bought into the ego's illusionary fairy tale and made it real. And an illusion can seem to be real within the illusionary world. An illusion cannot be real when we remember who we truly are. And so this illusion of a judgment and thinking negatively of ourselves is not real. And even the ego would tell you to judge yourself for judging yourself negatively. And so it has you judge yourself not only for judging other people, but also for judging yourself. And so you think, oh, I'm not spiritual enough, I'm not worthy enough, I'm not good enough, I'm kind, I'm too fat. Whatever the fairy tale of the ego is that day, that is the ego's fuel source. It wants you to separate yourself from your own truth so that it can have you to itself. For the more you use it, the longer it gets to live. And so today, let us not buy into the ego's fairy tale. For we have done that enough times. We have already judged our brothers and sisters many times. We have already judged ourselves many times. We have already judged ourselves for judging ourselves and for judging our brothers and sisters many times. There's only so many times even a child can play a game until the child gets tired of that game. And I believe we're getting to that point. We're getting tired of the ego's judgments. We're getting tired of the ego's self-judgments. We're getting tired of the ego's negative thinking. We can only bang our heads against this illusionary wall so many times before we wake up. And for this, let us be grateful. For the ego itself is a self-destructive mechanism, even though it does not know that. For the more we use it, the more we find out how useless it truly is. And that is not to say that during the illusion, experiencing the illusion is useless. Because if we are asleep during the illusion, and we experience the illusion, then once we experience it enough times, we get sick and tired of it, and we look for another way. And that's when we start to awaken to the truth within us. The love, the kindness, the peace, the generosity, the compassion that we truly are. And so today, let us not judge the ego. Let us not spend time in judging the ego. Let us not spend time in judging ourselves. Let us not spend time in negative thinking. But instead, let us use the ego's illusions for our benefit. Let us use the ego's illusions to remember who we are not and who we desire no longer to be. And so, when we remember during our day, let's remember during our day who we truly are. We are love's creations. We are love. And so anytime we're thinking that we are the opposite of who we truly are, let us be grateful for the ego's illusions, because they are showing us who we are not. And the more they show us things like the negative thinking that we are unkind, that we are not spiritual, that we are not generous, let us use those as examples of how we can turn things around by being the opposite of the illusion. And so if we think of ourselves as being unkind, and we're judging ourselves for being unkind, then let us practice kindness. Because we already know what the energy of unkindness has brought to our lives and to the lives of other people. And so let us not judge that unkindness. Let us not think of ourselves negatively for thinking of ourselves as unkind or being unkind. Let us simply remember that we're biting into the ego's illusion when we're being unkind. Let us remember who we truly are, that we are kindness. One of the love's expressions is kindness, generosity, compassion. And so when we're traveling down this road and down this illusion of unkindness, we travel further and further down that road, experiencing unkindness after unkindness, until we start to realize that this is not who we truly are. And then when we finally get it, that this is not really us, then we make that U-turn. And we start offering kindness and more generosity. And we start being more consciously aware that we are not unkind, that we are kindness. So we start practicing kindness and offering kindness. Just like anything else, every illusion is basically the same. When we think we are unworthy or not spiritual enough, we think that we should be, because we're being angry towards people or whatever it is we're doing. And so we travel that thought of not being spiritual, and somehow that thought of not being spiritual does not really align with our truth. So we just feel uncomfortable thinking of ourselves in that manner, thinking of ourselves as not spiritual, having negative thoughts towards ourselves as a spiritual being. And so the more we think of ourselves as negative, the more we travel that road, the more we bang ourselves against that illusionary thought, there comes a point in time when we say enough is enough and we turn it around. But it was only because of those illusions and that we experienced those illusions enough times. It was only because we experienced that negative thinking enough times that we finally said, oh, that's not me. My negative thinking is not me. My negative thinking is simply an illusion that I've bought about myself. My negative thinking is just a fairy tale that the ego has read to me over and over again, and that I bought as real for a time. But I've traveled that road enough. I've banged myself against the wall enough, my head against the wall enough, and I know that unkindness is not me. Thinking of myself as unkind is not me. That is not aligned with my truth. For I am love, I am kindness. That's who I am the expression of. And so today I will not judge myself for thinking unkind thoughts about myself. Instead, I will use that unkindness to remember who I truly am. And so every single illusion that the ego would have you buy into is in itself self-destructive for the ego and for the ego mind, but not for you, not for your truth.
It's 10 o'clock.
Thank you. For your truth, it is a sign on the road saying, U-turn, time for U-turn. And so let us be grateful to that. Let us be grateful for our negative thinking. Let us be grateful for our self-judgments. Let us be grateful for our judgments of others. And let us be grateful for when other people, quote unquote, make us judge them. Because we can only judge them because we and them are one. We're all one. We can only judge them so many times before we say, this does not align with the truth within me. I am not judgment. I am not judgment of others. Because when you're judging others, what you're really doing is judging yourself. But you're not that. You're not judgment. But our brothers and sisters are offering us the opportunity to remember who we are not. And so let us be grateful to our brothers and sisters, even though the ego would have us judge our brothers and sisters for this negative thinking of ourselves. Because when we're being not compassionate towards our brothers and sisters, then we start thinking negatively of ourselves. We start feeling bad about ourselves for acting in that manner towards our brothers and sisters, because somewhere deep down inside we know that we are one. And so that acting in that manner, sooner or later, self-destructive as it is, makes us see that this is not who we are, and we make the U-turn. And so imagine a life where, one, we're grateful for who we truly are, the love, peace, compassion, kindness, generosity, joy that we are. And then when we're buying into the illusions, fairy tales, and the many illusions, illusionary ideas of unkindness, that's being spiritual enough, not being kind enough, being too fat. I have no idea why that went there. Whatever it is, it could have 1,000 faces. They are all useful to us. They can all be useful to us because they can all remind us who we are not. And we can all make a U-turn after we have experienced it long enough. And so we're grateful when we're remembering who we truly are, and we're grateful when we are remembering who we are not. And so therefore we are grateful in every moment of every day. That's what we can have. That is what is available to us in every moment. Gratitude. Gratitude is available to us in every moment, regardless of how the ego has painted that moment. Regardless of how much we're buying into the ego's illusions. Little by little, those illusions are self-dissolving. And for that, let us offer them gratitude. Just like imagining our self-awareness being on the rooftop, every step of that ladder helps us along the way to self-awareness. Every step on that road, on that illusionary road, leads us to a place in time when we figure out, hey, this is not really us. We make the U-turn and we start remembering who we truly are. But we offer gratitude now that we're self-aware. We offer gratitude for every step on the way, when instead the ego would have us judged every single step and think of ourselves negatively in every single step of that journey. No longer do we need that negative thinking, because that negative thinking is an illusion. It's not real. Yes, we have bought into it. Yes, we have bought into the idea that we can think of ourselves negatively, but that's only because we were asleep. We are waking up. We're seeing the illusion for what it is. Every step on the journey is a blessing to us. Every step of the journey we can offer gratitude for it and them. And that is what let us practice today. Being grateful for every single moment. Even those moments when we're thinking negatively of ourselves. Because now we have the self-awareness to see that this negative thinking is not truly real. It's simply an illusion that we have bought into. But now that we are becoming self-aware, now that we're waking up, we can now offer gratitude to that negative thinking, to that self-judgment. And so let us do that today. Thank you very much for your time. I love you very much. If you'd be so kind as to like, comment, or share this video, it would help with the listing process, and it might help somebody find this video someday who can use the information. If you'd like to leave me a question or a comment, I would be delighted to try and offer a response. I try to respond to every comment, and I appreciate them. And finally, if you can please subscribe to my YouTube videos, I would love to have you in this community. Again, thank you very much for your time. I love you very much, and God willing, we will see each other tomorrow. Peace.